This is our new norm with we all have a one way or another with work from home and video conferencing and all that. So with that, I'd now like to call the regular board meeting to order at 6:09. We'll do a roll call. Jim Anderson.
Thank you.
Present.
Dr. Fellow Lang.
Here.
Roger Gines.
Here.
Maria Higgy.
Here.
Carmelita Smith.
Here.
Cindy Sutter.
Here.
And Dan Sutter. I'm here. So that worked pretty good. So here, everybody. Okay, so now we can move to in memoriam. We extend our sincere condolences to the families of the following people who have passed away since our last meeting. We have James Douglas Bayer. James, age 69, passed away Wednesday, March 11th. He received services from the SSA department and previously attended the Stark County Board Workshop Program. Beverly Ann Bowers. Beverly, age 84, passed away on Sunday, March 15th. She received services from SSA department and previously attended Stark County Board of DD Workshop. We have Verna Louise Schindler. Verna, age 64, passed away Friday, March 27th. She received services from the SSA department. So if we could all have a moment of silence in their honor. Okay, thank you. It's a little different having a virtual silence, but I think it worked well. So I now need a motion to approve the minutes from our regular board meeting held February 25th.
Higgy moves.
Giant seconds.
Okay, thank you. Any additions, revisions, or corrections? With none, all in favor of approval of board meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay, and any abstentions? So did we capture that correctly for the approval?
Yes.
So with that, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay. We'll at this time entertain anyone for public speaks. I don't think anyone's physically there for public
There's
speak.
no one in attendance.
Okay, so I think it's to move on. Move on to President's Report. So good evening again. Nice to see all of our board members, even this virtual video way. It's kind of interesting. I hope everyone, I hope your families are able to stay healthy and safe, and not just the shelter in place orders that we have. This is certainly unprecedented in our life, at least my lifetime, and it's vital that our governments be responsive to the needs of our people. In our case, our 3,859 clients and people that we serve. So in reviewing the agenda today, the resolutions, in which we have 8 of them tonight, we'll be voting on some of which will include assisting the agency to be able to respond to a crisis such as we're having right now. With that, I conclude. Any comments? Thanking everyone for being part of this board and the responsibility that we each hold. That concludes my report.
The Superintendents Report. I just want to thank everyone for their patience today and during the practice sessions yesterday. So during this temporary crisis, we're doing everything within our power to make sure that 3,800 plus people that we serve and their families, that their needs get addressed. So far in the last 3 weeks, we've touched base with the 1,700 people that have home and community-based service waivers. We've touched base with 788 youth. 600 of those people attend one of the 17 school districts within our county. 188 are those that we serve directly through Eastgate and Southgate schools. We have reached out to over 300 families that are being served in early intervention and making sure that they are healthy and safe and don't have any needs as well. We've been in regular contact with our provider community and have reached out personally to the 125 agency providers and 115 provider agencies to make sure that they get what they need to provide services. Through our County Board Association and working with the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, we came to a cooperative decision earlier in the week to increase homemaker personal care wages by 25% from the start of this, which was around January 26th, 27th, for a 90-day period from that date, which will conclude around April 30th, and then we'll revisit it to extend it for another 90 days. We're very excited to be able to do that. I mean, our provider agencies, we just want to make sure people are getting the supports they need, and many of the supports they need are actually someone to be there for them. We've delivered 80 bags of food, cleaning supplies, and diapers to people in need. Our school personnel are working to address the educational needs of the 188 students we serve. We have provided 10 to 15 staff to family homes or will be leased to provider agencies to relieve the provider community. Are accruing huge amounts of overtime right now. So they're just wanting to give their staff a break, and our staff have been receptive to fill in with this need. We are prepared to deliver personal protective equipment to our provider community if a person does show signs and symptoms of COVID-19, and we're ready to have that deployed at a moment's notice. We meet daily as a management team as a part of our pandemic response plan to ensure we are addressing the needs of our stakeholders. We believe that this is just the beginning of this temporary crisis. And it's amazing as we talk each day. I mean, we're mobilized and ready to go. And yeah, so far the need hasn't come. So we're just, but when that need does come, we can deploy on a moment's notice. With the context we've already made, as I mentioned, over 1,700 people, 788 youth, over 300 infants and toddlers and their families. We're again doing that this week. So we're reaching out again to see if there's any immediate needs for our families. We know that we are in a temporary crisis, and will continue to be making the best decisions we have with the information we have at this time. We just know that this pandemic is just getting started here in Stark County, and so we're ready to deploy when called upon. So as the superintendent and our management team, we want to make sure you know and have full confidence that we have been planning and making plans, and that we had a plan in existence even before this, and now we're just working that plan. So with that, are there any questions?
It sounds like you're more prepared than most of the other agencies for something like this.
And again, it really ties back into our risk management plan that we review every year. We had a pandemic plan in place for a long time. I mean, this thing probably 20 years old, could be 25 years old. We review it every 2 years. And so really when it came to shopping for groceries, we had a grocery list already as a part of that plan, and we just deployed staff to go do that. So yeah, it is nice to be able to work the plan, and then we're just running into new stuff every day with the uncertainty. So those daily meetings really help to keep everyone on the same page. And if a need is there, it's amazing the responsiveness of our staff in regards to if something needs to be delivered, boom, it's done within a couple hours. So it has been truly a team effort. And it's been comforting to see. So
Thank you for having a plan and being able to execute it, because without it, this could be much different, as we know.
no more questions. That will conclude the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Committee and department reports are in our board packets. Are there any additions or deletions that need to be made at this time? With none, we don't have any old business or new business. So at this time, we'll have a review of policies slated for first reading. Honey, take the video.
Good evening, everyone. We have 4 policies for first reading. Policy 103, meetings of board. Policy 4.50, cell phones, smartphones, tablets, and personal devices. Policy 4.58, fitness for duty. And policy 5.26, school age excess costs. Each of these policies was reviewed and no changes are recommended.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll move to resolutions. We have 8 of them, so we'll need to go through those, starting with resolution 03-1020, approving the board expenditures for February 2020. Need a motion
Giants moves.
and a second.
Lang seconds.
There you go, everybody.
I do want to let people know Maria looked like she was muted, so she is unmuted.
I always mute so you can't hear the background noise.
Okay.
Then I unmute when I have something to say.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was me, so.
I don't know, I was doing it so you wouldn't hear all my rustling around.
Okay, I thought it was me.
Okay, I think we have a motion and a second, so we'll have discussion from Lee.
Good evening. Nice to see everyone, even though it's through video. Month of February revenue, not a lot of excitement. Local revenue received $78,575, state received $275,857, and federal of $96,431. For total revenue for the month of just $450,864. Expenditures for the month of February, we had 2 payrolls. Nothing really exciting in either of the payrolls as far as payouts. We had benefits, $696,893, and total other of $5.197 million. As you can see, we did pay a waiver match and administrative fee payment during February of $4.5 million. So given the little revenue received and our expenses exceeded revenue by $6.68 million as of the end of February. Briefly looking at our year-to-date revenues from an end of February versus this time last year, a little bit of a differences in the revenues, but mostly just due to subsidies that we don't receive anymore from DODD. You see that decrease there. And then expenditures, of course, due to increase in waiver match. Looking below at our cash carryover of $50.1 million, we carried over $736,000 in 2019 purchase orders, which gave us unencumbered cash at the beginning of the year of $49.39 million. As of the end of February, we had $11.7 million open in 2020 POs. Taking into consideration our negative net change in financial position and the $313,000 of 2019 POs we've closed, we're ending the month with $29.5 million. And I'll just note real quick, you'll note it's a better position now than we were at this time last year, but of course that's due to receiving cost report settlements much sooner, as well as increase in real estate and targeted case management billing. Next, we'll look at the budget versus actual statement, and I'll just review this very quickly. So you'll see our year-to-date revenues, 2.5% of what we've expected to receive in. Total expenditures at 19%, and our target's about 16.5%. So we're pretty much on target. Our waiver match is going to push us above that a little bit. Looking over all the way to the far right, our available balance at the end of February, available budget balance, excuse me, of 29.356 million. Lastly, looking at the encumbrances of the 2019 POs that were carried over of 736,000 during the month of February and through year to date through February, we've paid a total of 166,682. But we still have a remaining balance of 256,209, which we'll see go away probably next month. We took care of a lot of those during the month of March. So looking at resolution 031020, you'll see our two payrolls there for February. Again, nothing to note. We had 2,300 in stipends that were paid out. And then our non-payroll, of course, by week. Obviously, that first week there, we did pay our waiver match. Just some other larger items to note that were paid, 454,000 in health insurance. We paid back Neon 153,000 for that capital grant we saw a couple months ago. And then just PERS and STIRS for retirement, about $160,000. If there are no questions, requesting approval.
With no further questions, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. No abstentions. Financials for February are approved. Thank you. This moves us to resolution 031120, approves the program calendars for 2020, 2021. I need a motion and a second.
Peggy moves.
Lang moves. I second.
Okay, and then discussion from Connie.
The program calendars for the 2020-2021 program year have been reviewed to ensure compliance with the Ohio Revised Code and administrative codes. The required service days for early intervention, along with the minimum number of hours for kindergarten through sixth grade and grades 7 through 12 are included. Preschool student requirements are also noted. And as in past years, we align our Eastgate and Southgate calendars with the plain local schools because of our embedded classrooms at Taft and Avondale. The resolution also states that the board has the right to amend the calendars after they are adopted in the event of an unforeseen circumstance, which would include things like emergency shutdowns or weather-related events. Any questions?
With those questions, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions, the resolution is approved. Moving to a resolution 031220, approval to amend the table of organization. I need a motion to approve in a second.
Giants moves.
Carmelita Smith, second.
Okay, discussion from Connie, please.
Yes, this resolution is to create 3 service and support administration positions. This job title is also referred to as the SSA. And of course, this role serves as the point of contact to assist our individuals in coordinating all their services. The expense associated with these 3 service and support positions was included in the 2020 budget. Once the positions are approved, each will be signed a position control number and be placed on the table of organization. We do not anticipate filling these positions immediately, but we'll fill them over the course of 2020 as they are needed. Any questions?
Questions or further discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. No abstentions. The resolution is approved. Resolution 031320 is to approve the declaration of a temporary crisis. I need a motion to approve in a second.
Anderson, Anderson will second.
Okay. Discussion from Bill.
Yeah. So obviously, this is a very sensitive resolution. It deals with our relationship with our 2 labor organizations. It also deals with our unrepresented employees in regards to expanding their work duties to include, could include direct care if needed. It also provides the superintendent the authority to address any lack of work. And again, certainly this is a very, very challenging time for everyone. But we are in a unique situation where we don't have work for certain people. And we want to be very judicious in addressing the needs of our workforce. We also have to balance it with the work that we have available. So we would look first to our program substitutes and our follow-along staff to initiate a layoff with them. And in many respects, with the stimulus dollars, it is possible that they could even be getting more money than when they were working because of the $600 a week supplement that is added as part of the stimulus. Other staff we would be looking at is food service. We'll also be looking at transportation. So we are trying to be creative and having everyone do some work, and we just see a time where it's not going to be possible to keep everyone engaged, and therefore the resolution. Just to give an example, again, we've offered our substitutes and our follow-alongs the opportunity to be leased to provider agencies and pay them the regular rate. We have about 45, 46 substitutes. We got 10 that would be willing to do that. So we're trying to provide creative ways to use our substitute staff, and we'll have to look at our teaching assistants as well. So that's why this resolution obviously is very, very sensitive. So we're balancing our staff, but also making sure we're being responsive to the public when there's not work, that we make those really, really hard decisions. So I guess, are there any questions or concerns?
Bill, this is Maria. I'm sorry, you may have said this. How many individuals would be affected with this, and what would that budget-wise look like?
So we know that we agreed to pay our follow-ons and substitutes over this 3 weeks. And we know for one pay period, and I asked Lee to weigh in, but that's $55,000 to them and the approximate 45 people. So if we would let this run for the course of 8 weeks, and that's kind of worst case scenario that takes them to the end of school, that's about $400,000. So we did the math in regards to that. Normally, follow-alongs and substitutes, we can bill back to school districts, but since they're not actively working, that's 100% of the cost for us.
Okay, thank you.
We do have our teaching assistants, and they're willing to work. It's just that we don't have the work for them to do to keep them busy from day to day to day. So that's the kind of the uncertainty we're in at this time. So we're just we're preparing for the worst here in regards to not being able to find work for people.
Right.
The first line of defense obviously is the program substitutes and follow-alongs who aren't technically our permanent employees. Then it would be food service and transportation, who are our employees. And then teaching assistants who are supporting usually a student, very similar to follow-alongs, but they're our employees. And that would be kind of another kind of phase or wave that we would have to look at. So again, the sensitive nature of this resolution, the sensitive, just during this time, I mean, I request any feedback would be appreciated. Questions or concerns?
Bill, are they eligible for unemployment?
That's what I was, thank you.
Yes, they are. They are. And that's it. So they would be able to get unemployment plus the $600 a week stimulus. So in some respects, some follow-alongs and some substitutes, some bus riders would actually be making more money if they did get affected by a layoff. There is a huge psychological effect.
There absolutely is.
Okay. Further questions or discussions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. The resolution is approved. Okay, we have resolution 03-1420, to transfer family support services funds to Neon. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Anderson motions.
Giant seconds.
We have discussion from Lee.
Thank you. Resolution 03-1420 is to transfer $212,000 to Northeast Ohio Network for payment of board obligations related to the Family Support Services Program, or FSS. FSS assists families who live with an individual who's eligible for our services. This program maximizes self-sufficiency by enabling access and an array of supports tailored to someone's particular need. The money that would be transferred will provide these resources to replenish the funds needed to continue the administration and invoice payment of this FSS program. Any questions?
Excuse me, you find at this time with the virus that people are wanting more services and supports?
Our FSS, in just relation to FSS, those coupons are pretty much gone in July. So we really haven't seen an influx of that now, just in regards to FSS.
Thank you.
But I will say some of the people that received family support services also received food, diapers, formula. Yeah, so apart from that, rather than the cash assistance, we just purchased the product. And we will continue to do that.
With that, any questions or further discussions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. No abstentions. The resolution is approved. This resolution 03-15 is to approve an emergency COVID-19 policy. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Higgy moves.
Carmelita second. Smith.
And discussion from Connie. Thank you.
So in accordance to policy 108, the board has the authority to waive the first reading of a policy by an affirmative vote of not less than 5 members of the board. The superintendent has implemented some components of the emergency policy in the absence of an approved policy. But the COVID-19 emergency policy comprehensively addresses the issues facing the county board given the COVID-19 pandemic. The policy does accompany the board resolution and provides direction on items such as sanitation expenses, employee responsibilities in case of exposure to the virus, the implementation of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, board activities, the use of our buildings, and the broadcast of board meetings online. Any questions?
I have a question. So this is an emergency for COVID-19. In the future, 10, 20 years from now, if there's another different type of pandemic, it would have to be another resolution for an emergency. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So this is just specific to COVID-19, is my
Yes.
okay.
And when this, when the COVID-19 crisis does end, we will look to terminate the policy.
Yeah, makes sense. Yep. Okay, without any, is there any questions or further discussion? None, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Say nay. No abstentions. Resolution is approved. We have resolution 03.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt, Dan. I'm gonna have to go. So I'm gonna say goodbye. That's
Okay.
okay.
Here, good to see you.
Yeah, everybody
Take care.
stay safe, wash your hands.
Like your necklace.
All right, bye.
All right, thank you,
Aye.
Dr. Jessica. All right, so that will resolution 03-1620 is approved provider support initiatives. I need a motion to approve as well as a second.
Giants moves.
Anderson seconds.
Any discussion from Lee?
Thank you. Resolution 31620 authorizes the board to take necessary action pursuant to revised code section 512605C to enter into contracts with various organizations for the purpose of providing the facilities, programs, and services upon such terms that are agreeable to meet the needs of the people we serve, their families, and the provider community. The board intends to the extent that staff are available to enter into a leased employee contract with providers on a temporary basis. This will help the providers with current staffing needs. The provider will be responsible for advising the employee. However, all other aspects involving including but not limited to liabilities arising such as injury or harassment, discipline, wages, and overtime will remain the responsibility of the board. The board is and will continue to purchase household supplies and food for people served and deliver to homes in accordance with applicable code sections. The board will also continue to assist providers with conducting criminal background checks, database checks, and will also assist with recruitment based upon guidance the board received from DODD. We will focus all resources on supporting people served, their families, and providers to maintain the health and safety of those receiving services. And we also recognize the board may be working outside of its normal operations during this temporary crisis. Any questions?
No questions? Any other or discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. The resolution is approved. Moves us to second reading of the board policies presented at the February meeting, presented by John.
Is there a motion?
Oh, no, the motion comes after you discuss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
apologize. Policy 1.01, legal structure and basic duties of the board, was reviewed with no changes. Policy 2.31, home choice, petty cash funds. That policy was deleted because the home choice program is no longer offered, so petty cash funds are not needed. Policy 4.42, visitors, was revised to specify that visitors should enter our buildings through the main entrance and follow the check-in procedure. And then policy 4.53, criminal offense, just a minor revision regarding a code reference, which had changed, so we did update that.
Okay, so that brings us to resolution 03-1720, provide board approval for the board policies presented for second reading. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Peggy moves.
Anderson seconds.
Is there any other further questions or discussion? With none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. The board policies are approved. Okay, so just to remind everyone, our next board meeting will be April 28th at 6 p.m. The Finance Committee meeting will be April 21st at noon, and the Personnel Committee will be April 24th at 3. So the venues of these meetings will be determined by our shelter-in-place orders at the time that so we can schedule these meetings. With that, I now need a motion to adjourn.
Gines moves.
Second,
Carmelitas.
There you go.
okay, all in favor
I'm
of
like
adjourning?
Gabriel.
In favor, say
like
aye.
Gabriel.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. No abstentions. Adjourned at 6:43.
So before we all hang up, I just want to